Let's talk about LeBron, Dave. Now 8 NBA Finals, and it sounds a little strange because his team was beaten in 5, but was this his greatest Finals performance yet?
David, by some statistical measure, mainly the triple-double, which has never been achieved by any player in the history of the NBA Finals, yeah, you got to say this 5-game series, it was for LeBron. 33.6 points, 12.5 rebounds, 10 assists, over 50% shooting. But really, it can't be. They lost the series, and he beat this same Warriors team a year ago, coming back from a 3-1 deficit. In that series, he goes 40 points in Game 5, 40 points in Game 6, triple-double in Game 7, and the game-sealing block that he called the defining moment of his career. So an excellent encore individually, but without the sweet taste of victory, I can't give him the crown for 2017. Certainly 2016 was the Finals we'll remember for the rest of his career, for the rest of his life, for that matter.
And you can even go back to 2015 and what he did with an undermanned Cavs team that year. He's had a tremendous run in the Finals, absolutely. We heard him talking at the very outset here, Dave, about how strong this Warriors team is. It's a scary team. Doesn't look like it's losing much this offseason, so the Cavs obviously need to ramp it up. What is the plan there?
David, I had a Cavs player text me this morning and tell me, I hope that we get a chance to come back with this same group. There is a sense in that locker room that they have enough at the core when you're talking about LeBron and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, but perhaps they have to fill around the margins. Now they have something called the mid-level exception, which is about $6 or $7 million that they'll be able to use to try to retain, a guy like Darren Williams. They could split it up, though, and use whatever's left after they pay Williams to go out in the free agency market. Now, they're looking for two-way players, guys who can make an impact both defensively and be able to make a shot or two, or perhaps even make a play on the offensive end, put the ball on the floor. It's not a lot of money, though. In today's market, it could get you a guy maybe like a P.J. Tucker, who the Cavs had their eyes set on all season long, maybe Thabo Sefolosha, Vince Carter, C.J. Miles. You got to look at veterans who have already made their money, who would be willing to take a pay cut to join this group to try to get them over the hump.
Cavs being a contender, of course, hinges on LeBron James and his future. Now, he can opt out after next season. What is the plan for LeBron moving forward?
Well, David, as long as the Cavs are a contender and they're making it to the NBA Finals and Dan Gilbert, the Cavs owner, is opening up his wallet to have them chase championships, there's no urgency for LeBron to make his next step or to leave Cleveland. But when he came back to Cleveland, there was no guarantee that this is where I'm coming back to retire and spend the rest of my career. Look back at LeBron's career at this point. 14 seasons in the league, 10 in Cleveland, 4 in Miami. It'll be a guaranteed 11 seasons in Cleveland. At that point, he's spent a decade and a half in the NBA, and who knows how long he'll play total. Maybe 17, 18, 19 years. And so if he was to have a final stage, it would make sense to weigh his options next summer, in the summer of 2018. And if the Cavs regress at all, perhaps it'd be time for him to find another opportunity, one in particularly in LA, either the Lakers or Clippers, or he can pursue his off-court interests in terms of Hollywood and TV and his uninterrupted multimedia platform in his spare time when he's not pursuing excellence on the basketball court.
Okay, but that, as you mentioned, that's a concern for perhaps next year. A more pressing issue is the future of the GM, David Griffin, who's on the last year of his current contract. What can you tell us about Griffin moving forward?
I mean, David Griffin has put together a championship team. They won it last year. They made 3 straight finals. He is able to kind of walk the line between having relationships in his front office staff, the coaching staff, players, and then the business side of things. I had a longtime associate who works for the Cavs tell me that in his 20 years in sports, working in sports, David Griffin's the best leader he's ever been around. And so he's important to the culture here. The problem is that, right now, Dan Gilbert has not extended him an offer. They've been meeting ever since the end of the regular season, ever since Team Portrait Day. They had a long meeting, a one-on-one that day, and they've met several times throughout the playoffs. But David Griffin's side of things is waiting for an offer to be tendered, at which point we'll see if it's a fair market value or David has to go out there and try to drum up some leverage. And the Milwaukee Bucks are the only other team right now that has an opening for their GM position. David Griffin has not interviewed there yet. Perhaps he could get an interview there either to try to get leverage or see if he'd be interested in starting anew, fresh somewhere else, if he doesn't get the type of offer that he believes he deserves from owner Dan Gilbert.
All right.